So the first one we're going to cover off is the SME loan guarantee scheme. Now, this is available for businesses with a turnover of less than $50 million. And this is good for you in some instances, but it's also, if you can help, you don't want to be going into debt if you can help it. But of course, if you need to get cash flow through this, it's a smart thing to do. So I'll throw it over to Brian to explain a little bit about what it means and how you get access to it.
Yes. So as it says on the screen there, the maximum loan size at this point is $250,000 per borrower. The loan's issued with a maximum term of 3 years, and the initial period of 6 months as a loan holiday, a repayment holiday, so no need to make payments on that. There will still be interest accrued on the loans during that period. And importantly, the loans aren't secured. So if your house is highly geared and you've got no other assets, that won't matter. We don't need to worry about finding any sort of security for those loans. Now, the loans still will be assessed, so the banks will still assess your business on its creditworthiness. Having said that, the government's guaranteeing 50% of that, and they've also given the banks an exemption from the responsible lending obligations. So you might remember a few short months ago, the banks all got hit over the head with the Hayne Royal Commission. The government's basically said, forget about that. As long as you're happy with taking on these loans, then take on as many as you can. So this is a really good opportunity to get cash flow in order to be able to see out in the next 6 or however many months it's going to take. And what I'd suggest is it wouldn't be a bad idea to apply for the loans and get the loans. Don't use them unless you need to use them. So that way you've got cash sitting there just in case this thing takes longer than we expect or the economy tanks worse than we're currently expecting it to. And then that way the money's there if it's needed. Once we get to the end of this period, when the economy starts to recover, if you hadn't needed to use the money, just pay it back to the bank and forget you ever needed to have it sitting there.
Yeah, and that's good advice. From my understanding too, they're really encouraging lenders to make this a line of credit that you only get charged interest on if you draw down on it. So the idea would be go to your bank, get the largest line of credit you can, but just let it sit there. Don't go out and buy flash cars with it or be silly with it, which,
Exactly.
or go on holidays with it as much as you might feel like you want one once this is all over. Really just use it as a capital cash flow for your business through this period to replace the cash flow you normally would have got from sales. And as those new sales come back in, you want to then repay that loan down. Because it was going to be a maximum of 3 years as well with a 6-month repayment holiday. So you've got 2.5 years to pay it back.
That's right. And also keep in mind that the banks won't deal with brokers on this, so you need to go directly to the bank.
Yeah. Now, I believe that exemption to the responsible lending criteria was only for existing customers of the bank. So you do need to go to the bank that you currently bank with for that to happen. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, great stuff. All right, I've got some questions coming through too. We'll do my best to get through the questions. If you do have questions, ask them in that question box. Gurneet asks, are we going to have any info for sole traders? Yes, we are. So hang in there, buddy. We will definitely have some info for you as we go through this. Fantastic. All right, so that sort of gives you a bit of a rundown on the loans. So can anybody get these loans, any business?
Yeah, any business, as long as you sort of meet the credit terms that the banks have set out. So every bank will probably have slightly different terms they're looking at when they're assessing your business. But as long as they're happy with what they see, you'll be able to get it. And they have said they want to get them processed quicker than normal loans are. But at the moment, last Friday I went across the ANZ across the road, and the young guy there had no idea about it. So I think there's still a bit of a delay with information sort of coming through the banks.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm expecting maybe between Wednesday and Friday this week, they should be able to start talking to people about getting these loans in place.
Yeah, okay. So what I did see, though, on Friday was I saw the banks were starting to roll out the marketing for it. So they're getting ready for it, definitely. We do have a question there. Are the bank loans only for businesses or also for personal? I think they're only for business at this stage.
Yes, they're only for business, but they've also come out with other measures where they're offering landlords other loan holidays for 6 months for residential and commercial properties. So there's other things the bank has there, and it'd be worthwhile contacting banks. So if you've got a credit card or a personal loan or anything else that's in place and you're having trouble paying it off, it's worthwhile talking to the bank about it to see what they can do for you.
The other thing I believe is if you have an existing loan with a bank, this also applies to existing loans to get the 6-month repayment holiday if it's a business loan, and you can also get an extension on that loan with the same criteria.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay. And so I'm just getting asked to confirm the government's guaranteeing 50% and the loan is unsecured. That is correct.
That's
yes. Right. Brian, yes, there will be a recording. So Brian's asked, will there be a recording of this webinar? Yes, there will be. I've pressed record. Doesn't always work. If you want to share it, the best way to share this, by the way, is to go to the Max My Profit Facebook page. We are live streaming there right now. The live event will be left on the Facebook page for you to watch later as a recording, and you'll be able to share it from there. Okay. So will they need anything to secure the balance of the 50%? No, it is unsecured. So the banks are going to be doing this lending unsecured, which means you do not need to put any security up. They're just going to look at your financials and obviously look at your business proposition moving forward to make sure that it's a good one. But having the government guarantee half of it lowers the risk for the bank, which should increase their confidence in lending you the money. That's the whole idea of this. All righty. So that's the bank loans. Let's move on.